Refugio Beach is a place special to our community. It's beloved by our community, and it's one of the most popular camping spots in all of the state of California. If you closed your eyes and tried to imagine the perfect beach, you would imagine something that looks pretty close to Refugio before the oil spill. I'm grateful for the work of first responders and the cleanup crews working to limit that damage and address the mess. But it's important to note that this was avoidable. And while an emergency still exists, questions are now being asked about the lack of maintenance, automatic shutoff equipment, slow detection, and slow response times. The delay in response may have been as long as 5 hours, which is an eternity when you're talking about the spread of an oil slick. And I've got to tell you, though the headlines talk about a large percentage of the beach cleaned up, it is actually a low percentage of the oil that has been cleaned up to date. The spill, though you cannot see it at the surface, you can still see it from the air, as most of the oil is now weighty enough to be suspended midway in the ocean. And it is very, very difficult to clean up at this point. As a result of these questions, on June 26th, Senator Jackson, as chair of the Select Committee, and I, as chair of the Assembly Natural Resources Committee, will hold a joint oversight hearing in Santa Barbara at 2 p.m. in the County Administration Building to examine the oil spill. We will examine the chain of events, the timeline of events, the cause and response to the emergency, as well as the short and long-term effects of this devastating oil spill. The oversight hearing will help us find out why local residents on the bluffs were the first to report the spill before the oil company did, and how a breach in the leak detection technology this serious could have occurred without raising alarms to the pipeline operator. We need to find out how such a devastating oil spill could have occurred in our community so that the situation does not repeat itself. Further, I am introducing legislation to help prevent future tragedies. Assembly Bill 864 will require pipelines in environmentally sensitive areas along the coast to use the best achievable technology to reduce the amount of oil released in an oil spill in order to protect state waters and wildlife. This bill will additionally require the pipeline operator to include in their oil spill contingency plan a description of the best achievable technology used to reduce the amount of oil released in an oil spill. This bill will help protect state waters, wildlife, and California's beautiful coastline during these sad instances, and is a companion to the two pieces of legislation that Senator Jackson has introduced last week. Spill is a reminder that there is always tremendous risk to areas surrounding offshore and onshore coastal drilling, many of which are in sensitive habitats. And the Gaviota Coast is a perfect example of our treasured resources. As far as Southern California is concerned, it is the largest stretch of undeveloped land anywhere in Southern California. Northern California, you have comparable ones. The law should reflect this truth by requiring operators to take every precaution available. My colleagues and I will work to ensure that the law does just that. I also want to remind folks that our society's addiction to oil is the source of this spill, that more than any well wishes or condolences that we want locally is people to buy less gas. And I just want to tell you that I am very proud of the work that this Senate and Assembly, particularly our pro tem and our Speaker of the Assembly, have been doing to transition us to renewable energy sources. Because the real answer, beyond the safety of these operations, is to get off of our addiction to fossil fuels. The oil spill has gravely affected the coastline, ocean waters, wildlife, and the local economy of our community. Not only the local people, but all of California deserves better.